Good evening and welcome to my channel. My name is David Ukun. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you everyone who have been supporting this channel by watching the videos, sharing with family and friends, and also subscribing to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to this channel, support it. Today I'm talking about India. If you're from India, leave a comment below and let me know how you are doing in India. The reason I'm talking about India because I've been talking about different countries. I've also been talking about different continents, continents of Asia, Africa, Europe, America, and the rest of the world. And the reason I'm talking about these places, I want to identify the facts of wealth in these countries, potential and developmental wealth, wealth as a product of development, and compare it to the issue of the cost of living crisis, which is caused by poverty among the many. This wealth being transferred from the hands of the many to the few at the top, the many at the bottom of society, and those at the top of society. The transference of this wealth is caused by a system of the economy known as capitalism. Capitalism is the engine of modern day economic growth and also generation of wealth. Unfortunately, the same system creating wealth and affluence in many societies, many countries, is also creating the inequalities which actually take away wealth from the hand of many and concentrate it in the hand of the few. That is why there is a cost of living crisis. The governments of the world will tell you something else, but the basic truth is that the cost of living is created by government policy and the behavior of the super rich, and also the failure of the many in the world to get out of poverty and also maybe hopefully get into the affluence. What I have said before, and I will keep saying it over and again, that it's almost impossible for everyone to get rich because wealth is being used as a weapon of rule. Only the few can rule to produce stability, social stability, and all sorts of forms of stability in society. You cannot rule over anybody who is as rich as you are. If you produce equality, the rule of people over people will stop immediately, and there are people at the top who are rulers who would not allow that to happen. Deliberately, it's a strategy to maintain privileged people at the top of society ruling, and that is necessary to create social stability. And so, if you think you're going to get rich quickly, or just live your life, be happy, learn as much as you can, and have fun with friends, with family, pray, pay attention to situations around you, identify a problem, learn to solve problems, and also appreciate what you have. Do good to yourself and to other people. Visit friends. Have a laugh with friends. Exchange gifts. You help one another. Be there for one another. Be human. And work as hard as possible. If you are working class, the lower class, the middle class, work as hard as possible. Get out of poverty. Learn how to manage your finances. And also realize that you are the best. You just happen to be poor. And if you work for living, whether you're feeling good about life, about wealth, you are poor because you are not rich in the first place. In the second, you don't own even your job. you probably don't own your property. You are buying your property on credit. If that is your situation, you have to use credit cards and things to buy even a car, furniture. Then you rest assured you're a poor person. A lot of poor people do not want to accept they are poor, even if they are poor. They probably don't realize that even some really poor people who do not even work, they rely on state grants or some support. They still believe that rich. That is good. It's good to be positive. It's good to be looking forward to life, but you need to understand the system. The system is such as to keep a group of people permanently poor deliberately, because if they access wealth and become rich, they cannot be ruled over, they cannot be slaves, they are going to probably be masters. There is going to be even more wars, more chaos. Arguably, you could even say it's better now for the few to be ruling over the many. If you are a slave of the working class, in the middle class and the lower class, try and be happy to be a slave, because you are doing yourself a favor, you're also doing society a favor by maintaining a temporary sense of stability in society. Because you see, imagine if the 90% of the population are suddenly become rich, there's going to be social instability, because we all desire to rule over one another. We want to be bosses. You know, we are insane. As a species, we are insane. We want to be bosses. Every man, every woman wants to be dominant, dominating other humans. It is a form of insanity among humanity, but also about animals and maybe wildlife generally. But humanity are lucky because they have a way how they can learn and change. They can learn, acquire information and change. That is a sign of hope. And that's why I'm talking. Because if there is hope, then there is a reason for doing your best to bring change. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to identify the problem of society and provide solutions by making suggestions. Listen to this video, whether you like it or not. Listen to it anyway. Learn from it, because it is your life. If your life is cheap, that is a problem. Because you see, even if you are a child, even if you are an adult, do not think that your life is a joke. If you think your life is a joke, then think again. Because, you know, there's only one option for you. You must value your life. You are special. You are the best. You are a human. And the people should begin to value humanity. It is a must. Because if we don't, then we will suffer. Every time you have a headache, every time you are sick, every time you feel depressed, because we as communities have failed to value our life. We do strange things to our life. We abuse our life. Even children, even young people begin to learn early to do the wrong thing, drink the wrong kind of drinks, eat the wrong kind of food. The only way out is to learn to do what is right, identify what is wrong. We are lucky because there are two types of situation, right and wrong. That is really important. And we are lucky that we have a situation existing where one set of activity is wrong, another one is right. Wrong things lead to bad things. Right things lead to good things. This is very important. So education is really important. If you are a multimillionaire or a multi-billionaire listening to this video, do not ignore it, because of your wealth, you could be the key to peace. People who are rich, who are doing the wrong thing, are extremely dangerous. Some of the most dangerous human species are actually multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires doing wrong things. And they may not even be able to learn because wealth, they think they know everything. Sometimes humility is a good thing. It's a sign of hope. And if you now think you know everything because you are wealthy, or if you think you know nothing because you're poor, that is equally dangerous, because we know what we learn, and we are able, all of us are actually created equal, and so we are able to learn. Even if you are poor, it doesn't diminish your value. You are human, you are of value. There is something you are good at to do, you're special, and this information is really important. If you work together, you gain strength. If you acquire knowledge, information, and wealth, you become powerful. And that's also a good thing, but use your power for peace. We should now start a process of changing the way we relate with one another. We now need to value humanity. If you value somebody, you care about them. If you value your life, you care about your life. And in that way, it changes the way you behave. You stop ruling over yourself. You don't need to rule over yourself. You rule over other things, your environment. Because you're human. Environment is created for humans. Humans are not created for the environment. This message is important for the environmentalists. Some environmentalists are actually psychopaths. They are totally insane. If you meet them talking about the environment, you think the environment is more important than people. That is a poor cultural learning. The product of poor cultural learning. Cultural learning means you learn the value of humanity as a priority. This message must go out. Listen to this video, share with family and friends, and be a champion to promote this idea. Watch these videos over and over until you understand what I'm talking about. Leave a comment below. Engage in conversation. If you cannot do that, fine. But this information is going out and it will impact. It doesn't matter if only one person is watching the video, it's enough. Because this information going out is fundamentally key to peace. Life without peace is worthless. And now, if you look at Israel, you look at the Arab world, Gaza, you look at Ukraine, you look at states in Africa, Nigeria, and other parts of the world. Children actually shooting other children in schools in America, or killing people on the street. You know that we have reached the end of our tethers, our tethers as human beings. We need to stop and change, especially if you are the head of state of the country, if you are a leader, if you're a follower, if you're a master or slave. The same fate awaits us. Ultimate destruction. Terminal destruction. This is really important. I'll be really repeating this. I'm looking at China to review the material here. India. Looking at India to review the material and to illustrate the fundamentals of my message. To see, they talk about the geography of India today. If you watch this video, watch it with the rest of the videos on India and on the rest of the regions of the world, because they are actually quite similar in terms of messaging. But it's also important to illustrate the proposition I made about globalization, that globalization is actually as a component in it of harmonization, where things happen in America, in the West, also happen in the East, in places like India and China, Russia, Ukraine. Capitalism is actually the language of development, the wealth creation of the greatest source of power. It's actually capitalism, which is a good thing for us. We should actually promote capitalism, but we should also promote the public sector to for the government to take some of the wealth away from the super rich and give it to those who cannot actually access wealth, to get everybody out of poverty. That's the beginning of transforming our society towards the path of peace. The second thing to do is actually to change the way or the system of our education, to teach humanity in schools, in families, at work, and in the culture, to change as an organ of the society, independent of development, but as a cultural infrastructure to change the way our civilization operates, so that we begin to ease our way out of trouble. That drug, that addiction to rule of the many by the few, which is a form of slavery, which is a form of violence, probably only source of wars, deaths, and destruction in the world, is humanity behaving like wild animals. Worse, actually, they behave like thieves, like common thieves, like robbers, like murderers, like wizards and witches. It is a very, very poor survey on humanity because of the madness about a few individuals longing, desiring to rule over the many. Do not get me wrong. Poor people who are the many are also desiring the same thing. So this insanity, this drug addiction, to stop for the poor and for the many. Humanity must change by learning a new information about humanity. We have forgotten our humanity. We are concentrating on power. We are concentrating on wealth. We are concentrating on everything else developmental. But culture must be used too. This information has to get out, and it is getting out. People are watching this video more and more, and that is a sign of hope for me. When I started this material, I didn't even expect one person to pay attention to it, but now more and more people are watching. I'm so encouraged. So let us carry on looking at India today and see the geography of India. And leave a comment below if you know anything about India, or especially if you're from India. India accounts for the bulk of the Indian subcontinent, lying atop the Indian tectonic plate, a part of the Indo-Australian plate. India's defining geological processes began 75 million years ago, when the Indian plate, then part of the southern subcontinent, Gondwana, began a northeastward drift caused by sea flow spreading to its southwest and later south and southeast. Simultaneously, the vast Thessalian oceanic crust to its northeast began to its northeast began to subduct under the Eurasian plate. These the whole process driven by convection in the Earth's mantle both created the Indian Ocean and caused the Indian continental crust eventually to thrash Eurasia and to split the Himalayas. Immediately south of the emerging Himalayas, a plate movement created a vast crescent-shaped trough that rapidly filled with riverborne sediment. And now constitutes in the Gangetic plain, as in the Ganges River and the river plain. The original Indian plate makes the first appearance above the sediment in the ocean Aravalli range, which extends from the Delhi ridge in southwesterly eastern Strait, which is checked by the Aravallis. The Tanga Badra with rocky outcrops flows into the peninsula Krishna River. We talk about India. This is part of the physical geography of South India. Fishing boats, as you can see, lashed together in a tidal creek in Angel village, Maharashtra. So these are some of the places, some of the names in India, Indian subcontinent. India as part of the Indian subcontinent. The remaining Indian plate survives as a peninsula, India, the oldest and geologically most stable part of India. It extends as far north as the Satpura and the Vindhya ranges in central India. These parallel chains run from the Arabian Sea coast in Gujarat in the west to the coal-rich Chota and Nagpur Plateau in Jharkhand in the east. To the south, the remaining peninsula landmass, the Deccan Plateau, is flanked on the west and east by the coastal ranges known as the Western and Eastern Ghats. The plateau contains the country's oldest rock formations, some over 1 billion years old, constituted in such fashion. India lies in the to the north of the equator, between 6 degrees 4 feet and 35 degrees and 30 feet north latitude, and 68 degrees 7 feet and 97 degrees and 25 feet east longitude. These are basic geographical description of where a country is. India's coastline measures 7,517 kilometers, 4,700 miles in length. Of these distance, 5,423 kilometers, 3,400 miles belong to Peninsular India, and 2,094 kilometers, 1,300 miles to the Andaman, Nicobar, and Lakshadweep Island chains. According to the Indian Naval Hydrographic Charts, the mainland coastline consists of the following: 43% sandy beaches, 11% rocky shores, including cliffs, and 46 mud flats or marshy shores. These are descriptive elements you find in India. Its topography, its physiological outlook. The country major Himalayan origin rivers that substantially flow through India include the Ganges and the Brahmaputra, the Brahmaputra, both of which drain into the Bay of Bengal. Important tributaries of the Ganges include the Yamuna and the Kosi. The latter's extremely low gradient caused by long-term silt deposits. The position leads to severe floods and course changes. Major peninsular rivers with steeper gradients prevent their waters from flooding include the Godavari, the Mahanadi, the Kaveri, and the Krishna, which also drain into the Bay of Bengal, and the Narmada and the Tapti, which drain into the Arabian Sea. Coastal features include the marshy run of Kush of Western India and the alluvial Sundarbans Delta of Eastern India. The latter is shared with Bangladesh, India as two archipelagos. The Lakshadweep coral atolls of India's southwestern coast, and the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands, a volcanic chain in the Andaman Sea. This is a outlook of India. And if you comment below, if you know India, if you have been to India, and you know some of these places, leave a comment below. Indian climate is strongly influenced by the Himalayas and the Thar Desert, both of which drive the economically and culturally pivotal summer and winter monsoons. The Himalayas prevent cold Central Asian katabatic winds from blowing in, keeping the bulk of the Indian subcontinent warmer than most locations at similar latitude. The relevance of this material is to show the wealth, the geography, the wealth, the potential, the natural wealth of India. And this compares with the incident of capitalism, one of the most robust and the biggest capitalistic countries, the biggest democracy in the world is India. And one of the, I think, the fifth richest in the world. It's richer than the United Kingdom, and that is important information, because the cost of living should not even be in a country like India. Much of the world, including even in Africa, the cost of living shouldn't be there. The fact that the cost of living is there means there is a problem of policy and practices involving capitalism, public service, public sector and public service, issues of privatization. These need to be remembered, because there is a far bigger problem than the cost of living crisis. There are so many crises. The cost of living is just one of them. The cost of living may last longer or shorter than is predictable. But whatever happens, the problem will not go away because of the reasons I gave at the opening of this video. Let us carry on looking at the geography. Now we're looking at the physical geography of India, and the Thar desert plays a crucial role in attracting the moisture-laden southwest summer monsoon winds that between June and October provide the majority of India's rainfall. Four major climatic groupings predominate in India: tropical wet, tropical dry, subtropical humid, and montane. Temperatures in India are risen by 0.7 degrees Celsius, 1.3 degrees Fahrenheit between 1901 and 2018. Climate change in India is often thought to be the cause of these problems. The retreat of Himalayan glaciers has adversely affected the flow rate of the major Himalayan rivers, including the Ganges and the Brahmaputra. According to some current projection, the number and severity of droughts in India will have markedly increased by the end of the present century. We are looking at the biodiversity, the forestry in India and wildlife in India. India is a mega diverse country, a term employed for 17th century, 17th centuries, which display high biological diversity and contain many species exclusively indigenous or endemic to them. India is a habitat for 8.6% of all mammal species, 13.7% of bird species, 7.9% of reptile species, 6% of amphibian species, 12.2% of fish species, and 6% of all flowering plant species. Only a third of Indian plant species are endemic. India also contains 4 of the world's 434 diversity hotspots, or regions that display significant habitat loss in the presence of high endemism. So, according to official statistics, India's forest cover is 713,789 square kilometers, 275,595 square miles, which is 21.71% of the country's total land area. It can be subdivided further into broad categories or canopy density, or the proportion of the area of the forest covered by its tree canopy. Very dense forests whose canopy density is greater than 70% occupy 3.02% of India's land area. It predominates in the tropical moist forests of the Andaman Islands, the Western Ghats, and Northeast India. Moderately dense forests whose canopy density is between 40% and 7% occupy 9.39% of India's land area. It predominates in the temperature coniferous forest, temperate coniferous forest of the Himalaya, and moist deciduous salt forest of eastern India, and the dry deciduous thick forest of central and southern India. Open forests whose canopy density is between 10% and 40% occupies 9.26% of India's land area. India has 2 natural zones of thorn forests, one in the Deccan Plateau immediately east of the Western Ghats, and the other in the western part of the Gangetic plain, now turned into rich agricultural land by irrigation. Its features no longer visible. Looking at China, India, the geography of India. Geography is the same with potential wealth or natural wealth. Some of these are developed, others are not developed. Among the Indian subcontinent's notable indigenous trees are the astringent, Azaricta, indica, or neem, which is widely used in rural India, Indian herbal medicine, and the luxuriant ficus, religiosa, or people, which is displayed on the ancient seals of Mohenjo-daro, and under which the Buddha is recorded in the Pali canon to have sought enlightenment. This is some of the information on what contains in India, and many Indian species have descended from those of Gondwana, the southern supercontinent, from which Indians separated more than 100 million years ago. Gondwana land was the original body of the earth before splitting, leaving Africa, where Africa is now in the middle, and India also separated. Europe and Asia separated from Asia. I mean, even America and Europe also. They just spread from the Gondwana land, and leaving Africa stuck in the middle. So Africa probably is the center of the world. And if you comment below what you think Africa might be and the rest of the world. Many Indian species have descended from those of Gondwana, the southern subcontinent, from which India separated more than 100 million years ago. India's subsequent collision with Eurasia set off a mass exchange of species. However, volcanism and climatic changes later caused the extinction of many endemic Indian forms. Still later, mammals entered India from Asia through to geographical passes flanking the Himalayas. These are the effect of lowering and endemism among India's mammals, which stands at 12.6%, contrasting with 45.8% among reptiles and 55.8% among amphibians. And among endemics are the vulnerable hooded leaf. These are some detailed descriptions as rich as would portray the wealth that which India is. Monkey and the threatened Bedouins toad of the Western Ghats. India contains 172 IUCN designated threatened animal species, or 2.9% of endangered forms. These include the endangered Bengal tiger and the Ganges River dolphin. Critically endangered species include the gharial crocodilian, the great Indian bustard, and the Indian white-rumped vultures, which has become nearly extinct by having ingested the carrion of diclofenac treated cattle. Before they were extremely used for agriculture and cleared for human settlement, the thorn forests of Punjab were mingled at intervals with open grasslands that were grazed by large herds of black buck preyed on by the Asiatic cheetah, the black bug no longer extant in Punjab. Is now severely endangered in India, and the cheetah is extinct. The pervasive and ecologically devastating human encroachment of recent decades has critically endangered Indian wildlife. In response, the system of national parks and protected areas, first established in 1925, was expanded substantially. In 1972, India enacted the Wildlife Protection Act and Project Tiger to safeguard crucial wilderness. The Forest Conservation Act was enacted in 1980, and amendments added in 1988. India hosts more than 500 wildlife sanctuaries and 18 biosphere reserves, 4 of which are part of the World Network of the Biosphere Reserves, 75 wetlands, and registered under the Ramsar Convention. Talk about China. Looking at the geography, India has the majority of the world's wild tigers, approximately 3,170 in 2022. A cheetah axis stuck in the Nagarol National Park, in a region covered by the moderately dense forest. If you have been to India before as a tourist, or India is your home, leave a comment below and let me know how you're getting on living in India. 3 of the last Asiatic cheetahs in India were shot dead in 1948 in Shugoja district, Madhya Pradesh, Central India, by Maharaj Ramanuj Pratap Singh Deo. The young male cheetahs, all from the same litter, were sitting together when they were shot at night. Politics and government of India. If you watch this video, watch it with the rest of the videos about China, about India and other parts of the world. If you would like to do so, that will actually give you a perspective of what is being done in this process. We talk about India, looking at the geography of India, looking at the wealth, the natural and also the developed wealth. Right now we're looking at the politics as part of Janadesh 2007. 25% of pro-land reform, landless people in Madhya Pradesh listen to Rajagopal PV. Politics of the government system, government, the power, economy, India, the parliamentary republic with the multi-party system. India has 6 recognized national parties, including the Indian National Congress (INC) and the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP), and more than 50 regional parties. The Congress is considered center-left in Indian political culture, and the BJP right-wing for most of the period between 1950, when India first became a republic, and the late 1980s. The Congress held a majority in the parliament. Since then, however, it has increasingly shared the political stage with the BJP, as well as with powerful regional parties, which have often forced the creation of multi-party coalition governments at the center. This is our look at the political landscape of India. It is the Republic of India's first 3 general elections in 1951, 1957 and 1956. The Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru-led Congress won easy victories. On Nehru's death in 1964, Lal Bahadur Shastri briefly became Prime Minister. He was succeeded after his own unexpected death in 1966 by Nehru's daughter Indira Gandhi, who went on to lead the Congress to election victories in 1967 and 1971. We talk about the politics of India, full of violence and mysteries. Following the public discontent with the state of emergency she declared in 1975, the Congress was voted out of power in 1977. The then new Janata Party, which had opposed the emergency, was voted in. The volatile political environment in India. If you watch this and the rest of the videos, there's one common theme: the creation of states and the management of states full of violence, the quest for rule, even wars, even fight among the ruling class. But more so, the tension, the brutal relationship between the ruling class and the working class has created the cost of living crisis. In the first place, the second, cost of living crisis is created by poverty. You're suffering from the cost of living crisis is an easy diagnosis of the fact that you are poor. Because rich people don't suffer the cost of living crisis. They may suffer the cost of living, but they don't suffer from the price. That is a critical information to identify who you are as a class of a person or a class of a group of people living in society. Because there's a problem, you need to identify the problem. Identifying the problem is easier, it's more realistic for you to begin to look for a solution to such problem. That's why I'm actually talking about this. All this, that is the central purpose. That's on the one hand. On the other, we need to learn our culture. We need to put humanity first by the way of valuing humanity, which is what we are not doing. You may not believe it. We value wealth, we value power, we value fame, we value everything else except our lives as humans. And this is what I have seen, this is what I have learned. Leave a comment below if you agree with me, leave a comment below if you disagree with me. And watch this video, share it with family and friends, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being with us. So let's just go back to looking at the government politics of India. Following public discontent with the state of emergency she declared in 1975, Congress was voted out of power in 1977. The then new Janata Party, which had opposed the emergency, was voted in. Its government lasted just over 2 years. There were 2 prime ministers during this period. Morarji Desai and Charan Singh voted back into power in 1980. The Congress saw a change in leadership in 1984 when Indira Gandhi was assassinated. She was succeeded by her son Rajiv Gandhi, who won an easy victory in the general election later that year. The cause of the Gandhi is vivid and occurred in India, an epitome of modern society and the politics of violence and destruction. We haven't seen nothing yet going forward. Just as we are beginning to think perhaps with technology and wealth, there is going to be peace. There is going to be no peace for the wicked if we don't learn the value of people, of power, for wealth, because we sell our soul to the devil for wealth, power, for everything else. We don't sell our anything to preserve our value, to our life. We value our life. This is actually critical in this program. This is a conversation I will continue to push until we get a sense of its reality and realizing that this is identifying the problem and solve and begin the process of solving the problem of peace or lack of peace. This video is about peace. It's about the quest for peace. You are watching it. Peace. Let peace be in your mindset. Everything I say is about peace. It doesn't matter how it sounds like, it doesn't matter how it looks like, it's about peace. It's about identifying the problem causing lack of peace and solving it. Beginning now. Beginning with the government of the world, the ruling class lifting everyone out of poverty. Whether through employment, whether through grant, taking money from the rich, through taxation, or actually educating the rich, give their money for free for people who cannot access work, for people who cannot really be paid well. Because you see, there is no point the government telling people or even suggesting that people do not want to work, which is an excuse, which is a form of barbaric cruelty. Especially if such a notion is coming from a government in the developed world, a government of a country of a part of the world claiming to be a democracy. He provides mockery of freedom, a mockery of civilization, a mockery of enlightenment. We should stop some of these in politicians are actually shameless, who abuse the poor, if you can abuse the poor, you're also abusing the rich. Because the poor are people, the rich are people. If you are capable of abusing poor people, who are actually the majority, whether they know it or not, the working class, middle and lower class, if you know it or you don't know it, it doesn't matter. You are poor, you're poor. If you think you're rich, then you're fooling yourself. And fools are actually destined for one thing, pit of hell. Because the violence is on the increase. People should wake up and open their eyes. Why shut? You want to shut your eyes, go to sleep, but only close one eye and leave the other eye open. Because you cannot continue, we cannot continue like this. Unsustainable is an emergency. People want to work. Work is a point of dignity. But people don't want to be slaves. Slavery must stop. If people are going to work, they should work for themselves, not for other people. And this debate, this discussion is in the past, because currently, going into the future, we are seeing the growth of technology, which is going to take work away anyway, creating wealth, more wealth for the rich. And if we don't solve the problem of inequality, of social injustice today, technology is going to be the most dangerous weapon mankind has ever created, instead of bringing peace and emancipation from slavery. Slave workers who have been abused for decades, who have been oppressed for years by slave masters known as capitalists. I have nothing against capitalism. I have everything against evil people who run it. Doesn't matter what system you run, it's going to be good if good people run it. Bad people running society is the problem. because they are very, very evil. You don't abuse people, fellow human. You don't do that and think you are somebody important. You are nothing. Whether you are rich, whether you're in power, it doesn't matter how educated you are. Most of these people are educated in the best university. Universities have become a weapon of mass destruction because you use your knowledge to kill, to steal. You are actually murderers, thieves, and robbers, and terrorists. Terrorists. If the terrorism, the function of terrorism is to destroy society. And I mean, if you don't respect people because you think you're a politician, you are rich, you are from the upper class. And the India I'm speaking about now as the worst record of class system ever. And that means the evil in India is even worse. Actually, every evil spirit comes from India. Because I know that by looking at the inequalities, I mean the class system, the caste system, the thing is called the caste system, which is actually the worst ever in the world. I started reading about it as a young man. About the caste system, I was so shocked how evil India was until I discovered evils around the world. And we may think we are very nice people, we are polite, we want to be positive. Be positive if you want. I have nothing about positivity, but ignorance is the mother of all destruction. Stop being ignorant. You have to know the truth and start living. It doesn't matter whether you are sleeping on the street, because the level of abuse by the state around the world today is going to see the rate of the population, 90 to 95% of the population, in the next 100 years, all of them could go extinct. Beginning now, you're going to see more homelessness, you're going to see more joblessness, you're going to see more death and burials, because the healthcare will be shut for the many, and healthcare is going to be left only for the few. The people who are doing this may not realize it. The sooner they realize it, the sooner they see the light, how dangerous they are, the better. If they know it, then somewhere along the line they need to be removed. Evil people should not be in power. Rule is evil enough. Rule of people ruling all. We are all responsible, even if you are poor. Poverty is not a ticket to innocence. Poor people are as evil as rich people. Slaves are as evil as masters, because they haven't attained to mastery. They will do the same thing. So we need education. We need cultural learning. We need to learn education culture now, so that the rich and the poor can respect one another. You respect yourself first and respect other people. That is the message. Whether you like it or you don't, listen to it. If you don't, fine. We are few listening now. We are enough. We are going to bring changes, because this is our destiny. Whether we are alive, whether we are dead. When we are alive, we are going to do it ourselves. If we are dead, our spirit will do it on our behalf. Do not think that evil will succeed. No, it won't. Goodness will actually, the good people who respect humanity, who have even discovered the value of humanity, to work to preserve humanity as a priority. These are the good people. This is how you define whether somebody is good or evil. If you don't care about people, if you don't care about your life, you are evil. You don't deserve even to exist. If it is necessary, you should be removed from wherever you are, and it will be done. Because humanity, the existence of humanity is inevitable. We cannot do without existing, and we are going nowhere. If you ever thought that humanity will go nowhere, don't waste your time. If if you're in power, if you are actually abusing people willfully, you are killing people, you're destroying lives, you are a terrorist. And you are going to be, your kind, your species will be removed, will be eliminated through education. That is our weapon of peace. If people want to use guns and bombs, that is their problem. But you cannot use the wrong thing to bring the right thing. See, our weapon is education. We need learning. You can do whatever you like as an individual, but if you want peace, speak and learn, listen. Even if you are only 2 of you, we are about 8 billion now. In the world, we are going to increase in population. If only 2 people understand what is right, do it by speaking. Like I am doing, speak. And when you speak, learn and lead by example. Be a good person. A good person, somebody who value themselves and value other people. This is the teaching, and also the necessity. This is the medicine of our social ills and social evil. Let's go back to look at India. It's a sample to review the material. And as we look at India, we look at the politics and government in India. The Congress was voted out again in 1989 when the National Front coalition, led by the newly formed Janata Dal in alliance with the Left Front, won the election. That government too proved relatively short-lived, lasting just under 2 years. It's so interesting to look at India, because India is one of the most important countries in the world, and the hope of the world could lie in a country like India. All we need is actually to tidy up as societies. That's why I'm talking. Listen to me, and subscribe to my channel if you're still watching. Share with family and friends. You will comment below. And so, there were 2 prime ministers during this period, VP Singh and Chandra Shekhar. It's India, the government politics in India. So elections were held again in 1991. No party won an absolute majority. The Congress, as the largest single party, was able to form a minority government led by P.V. Narasimha Rao. U.S. President Barack Obama was able to address the members of the Parliament of India in New York and Delhi in November 2010. A 2-year period of political turmoil followed the general election of 1996. Several short-lived alliances shared power at the center. The BJP formed a government briefly in 1996. It was followed by 2 comparatively long-lasting United Front coalitions, which depended on external support. There were 2 prime ministers during this period, H.D. Dev Godwar and I.K. Gujral. In 1998, the BJP was able to form a successful coalition, the National Democratic Alliance (NDA). This was led by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. NDA became the first Congress coalition government to complete a 5-year term. Progress in terms of rule and democracy. Again, in the 2004 Indian general elections, no party won an absolute majority. The Conservative, the Congress emerged as the largest single party, forming another successful coalition the United Progressive Alliance, UPA. It had the support of left-leaning parties and MPs who opposed the BJP. The UPA returned to party in the 2009 general election with increased numbers, and it no longer required external support from India's communist parties. India is the largest democracy in the world. So democracy, by actual definition, means competitive election, which I believe. In a world of violence, in a world of of confusion and corruption, is a recipe for disaster. What is supposed to be a perfect system is one of the most dangerous systems on earth. Democracy can be lethal when wrong people are actually handling. You see it typically in India. Supposed to be the magic wand for peace, but actually it is set to guarantee disaster for humanity in terms of peace failure. Because the people there are poor educated, they do not know their priorities, what to value first and what not to value first. You cannot value power, wealth, or anything else over and above human being. That's why there is killing. You take a gun to assassinate a prime minister, a leader of your country, you shoot them dead. That is not human. That is an alien. Humans do not behave like that. They should not behave like that as the behavior of an alien. An alien, we should be deported to an outer space. You don't. What happened to people like the Kennedys in America or any other form of assassination in Africa, India, is evidence of our failure, our cultural failure. We are the most dangerous species existing today, and we are gaining in power. We need to really stop and think. Otherwise, we are finished. We're done. But we will not stop until we win. Humanity cannot just go quiet. We will win. We will achieve peace. The peace should be achieved by learning our culture, by learning the value of humanity. That is what culture means. Learning the value of your life because you're human first, and then valuing anything else. If we achieve that at educational level, if it becomes our personality, our character, impact on our personality, our conduct, then we will achieve peace. Piecemeal. But that will take time. We need to start changing the way we think now. And going forward, change the way our behavior, because we cannot allow violence to rule over us. Enough is enough. Education, that is the root to peace. The roadmap to peace has to be done beginning now. So we're looking at this material, looking at politics and government in China, in India. In the 2019 general election, the BJP was victorious again. The incumbent prime minister is Narendra Modi. The former chief minister of Gujarat, on the 22nd July 2022, Draupadi Murmu was elected India's 15th president and took the oath of office on the 25th of July 2022. You're looking at government of India and the Constitution of India. If you comment below if you know anything about the government. The Constitution of India, looking at Rashtrapati Bhavan, the official residence of the President of India, which was actually designed by British architect Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker for the Viceroy of India, and constructed between 1911 in 1931 during the British Raj. Britain, India is a former colony of the British Empire. If you didn't watch the other videos, the information is in the other videos, the history of India. We're now looking at the government. Federalism, India's federalism in India defined power distribution between the union and the state. The Constitution of India, which came into effect on 26 January 1950, originally stated India to be a sovereign democratic republic. This characterization was amended in 1971 to a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. So they do not respect God in India, in their government. The secular means they have no respect for God. In India, is respectful of God. If you come below, if you believe in God, if you're from India. So when we talk about the Constitution is sovereign, that's what it means. This statement means the Constitution in India is sovereign, which means it's the most powerful organ in India. In theory, India's form of government, traditionally described as quasi-federal, with a strong center and weak states, has grown increasingly federal since the late 1990s as a result of political, economic, and social changes. So it's practicing some form of federalism. Quasi means it's not neither here nor there. You get India as a federal system, and you get India as not being federated. Yeah, so let us continue with India. We are looking at the government and politics of India. If you have watched this material, which is alongside the other material, as a video on India, and the comment below, we're looking at the government of India, which comprises three branches. The branches: executive branch. The president of India is the ceremonial head of state, who is elected indirectly for a 5-year term by an electoral college comprising members of national and state legislatures. The Prime Minister of India is the head of government and exercises most executive power. Appointed by the president, the Prime Minister is by convention supported by the party or political alliance having a majority of seats in the lower house of parliament. So the executive of the Indian government consists of the president, the vice president, the Union Council of Ministers, with the cabinet being its executive committee, headed by the Prime Minister. Any minister holding a portfolio must be a member of one of the Houses of Parliament. In the Indian parliamentary system, the executive is subordinate to the legislature. The Prime Minister and their council are directly responsible to the lower house of Parliament. Civil servants act as permanent executives, and all decisions of the executive are implemented by them. Look at the legislature. The legislature of India is the bicameral parliament, operating under a Westminster-style parliamentary system. It comprises an upper house called the Rajya Sabha Council of State, the lower house called the Lok Sabha or Sabha House of the People. The Rajya Sabha is permanent it's a permanent body of 245 members who serves staggered 6-year terms. Most are elected indirectly by the state and union territorial legislatures in numbers proportional to their state's share of the national population. All but two of the Lok Sabah's 545 members are elected directly by popular vote. They represent single-member constituencies for 5-year terms. 2 seats of parliament reserved for Anglo-Indians in the Article 331 have been scrapped. The judiciary, the legal system. India has a 3-tier unitary independent judiciary comprising the Supreme Court, aided by the Chief Justice of India, 25 High Court, and a large number of trial courts. The Supreme Court has original jurisdiction over cases involving fundamental rights and over disputes between states and the center as appellate jurisdiction over the high courts. It has the power to both strike down union or state laws which contravene the constitution and invalidate the government action it deems unconstitutional. Administrative divisions of India. Administrative division of India, including political integration of India. India is a federal union comprising 28 states and 8 union territories. All states, as well as the union territories of Jammu and Kashmir, Puducherry, and the National Capital Territory of Delhi, have elected legislatures and governments following the Westminster system of governance. The remaining 5 union territories are directly ruled by the central government through appointed administrators. In 1956, under the States Recognition Act, states were recognized on a linguistic bias basis. There are over 250,000 local government bodies at city, town, block, district, and village levels. There are 28 states and 8 union territories in India. Look at the states: Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bahi, Chhattisgarh, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, West Bengal, Union Territories, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Daman Diu, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Lakshadweep, National Capital Territory of Delhi, Puducherry, Foreign Economic and Strategic Station, Foreign Relations of India and Indian Armed Forces. We are going to stop here and continue the other segments in the next video. Leave a comment below, share with family and friends, like the video, watch the video, subscribe to my channel and to support it. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I've been talking about looking at India as part of the program of peace building. My aim is to discuss the situation of violence and of lawlessness in the world, including in government, including in society, to trying to advocate for education, changing the way we learn, valuing people first, learning our culture, and continuing to learn development and also promote development. But more importantly, we need to really focus now on our humanity, because we are becoming more and more violent. There is more and more war. We are weaponizing wealth, we are weaponizing technology, and this is no longer sustainable. We are turning nature into weapons, including biological warfare, using viruses as a weapon of mass destruction. Humanity continuing like this is threatening with extinction. I'm not afraid to say this because it is really important. If you're human, join me in this channel. If you are not human, join me also, because we are actually hosting you as an alien in our human society. Join us before it is too late for you, because if we reorganize our society and you don't join us to learn to respect us, if you are an alien, you're going to be evicted. We're going to send you back where you came from in a bad way, because we are sick and tired of violence. We do not longer want to live under a state of emergencies, wars. You know, the cost of living is a type of war. I'm actually using the cost of living to illustrate the problem. And thank you so much. Join me next time to continue looking at China. Next time we're going to look at foreign and strategic relations of China, of India, not China. India. I already looked at China. You can look at others, see the other video on China. We're not looking at India, and then going forward we'll start doing. I'm planning to do other things, but I will still be talking about the cost of living. But increasingly, gradually I will be introducing other elements to this program. Thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel and support this program. You may not like the content, but just support it anyway, because you are watching this far. Thank you. Bye bye.